I'm Milton from TeamFFLEX. You're on my show every Monday I do for you called Protein Power. This is where we talk about everything nutrition, how to get results, where you want to be, what you want to do. It's all right here on Protein Power. Today we're going to talk about the most important macronutrient and how it applies to your goals. This is a must watch on Protein Power. If we're going to make a video about macros, I got to tell you what macros are, all right? I've been getting crazy questions about macros all the time. People literally ask me, hey, if I'm tracking my macros, I'm staying on top of this, what's the most important one? You know, should I go over on protein more? Should I go lower on fats? What should I do if I end up in X, Y, and Z scenarios, right? So it's a very common question. Let me tell you what macros are first if you don't know. Just a 2-second little tutorial here. Macros are your bulk nutrients, okay? We're talking about proteins. We're talking about carbohydrates. We're talking about fats. That's really what macros are, okay? They're the macro bulk nutrients that make up your diet. I mean, every food that you eat is going to contain these types of macros in different varying amounts, and overall, these added up are calories. They will, dictate an overall caloric intake, and that's what's going to get you results. You know, if you want to build muscle, you got to have higher macros. You want to lose body fat, lower macros. That's really the kind of gist of macros, okay? So we're talking proteins, carbs, and fats. Say it with me, all right? Now, the question becomes, what are the most important macros, right? If there's only 3 of these things to hit, and I'm in a situation where I'm tracking my calories, but maybe I got a little bit off, or I don't know what to do, and what's the most important one? Protein, ladies and gentlemen. Protein is your most important macronutrient. It is the one that you really want to make sure you always prioritize whenever it comes to tracking. Now, let's also talk about the fact that meal plans, they're basically macro plans somebody else did for you. So, again, got to prioritize that protein. Really what it comes down to is the fact that protein really is the building block of any goal you got. You want to compete? Protein. Want to build muscle? Protein. Want to lose body fat? Protein. This is a key macronutrient that just obviously you should never really, skimp out on. But unfortunately, it happens all the time where people are having a hard time getting that protein in, having a hard time hitting that goal, having a hard time figuring out how to fit those in. So I'm going to give you some strategies on how to keep your protein intake where it needs to be all the time right after this break. Let's first talk a little bit about why protein is so important. I think it's important you all understand this, and it really helps you. The more knowledge you have, it helps you execute on your goals better. Protein becomes very important because it is literally the building blocks of muscle. So if you're out here trying to build muscle, which pretty much everybody is to some degree, right? Whether you're trying to compete, whether you just want to gain strength, you want to actually hypertrophy your muscles, get bigger, whatever it is you're trying to do, that's a muscle building goal, all right? And so protein becomes the staple, the building blocks of any muscle you're going to build. Not to mention it's just responsible for every other type of building in your body, from growing your hair to, your skin and all kinds of other things. It's crazy how effective protein actually is and how required it really is as a nutrient to survive. But all right, what about fat burning then, right? How do you burn fat? Why is protein important for fat burning? Well, for one, higher protein on a lower calorie diet. When you're cutting down, you're losing weight, you're going into a show, or you just want to cut some pounds off, it actually helps you in a number of ways. It helps you maintain your lean body mass, so you actually get to keep any muscles that you build. You don't want to burn muscle, you want to burn the body fat off. So keeping that protein intake in there is really helping you preserve muscle. But also protein is thermodynamic, and what this means is when you eat it, it takes more calories in your body to digest and burn it. So that actually assists you in a fat loss situation, because the more protein you're eating, the more body fat you're going to be burning too. So overall, you can see how protein fits in literally every single goal. Now, how do you get it in the diet? This is the thing that people always say to me. They're like, great, protein sounds awesome, I hear what you're saying. You're probably sitting there thinking that right now. How do you get more of it? How do you actually hit those numbers, right? If you haven't spent a lot of time tracking, or you're not super experienced with, fitness type eating, well, it might be very hard to go from, okay, I was eating, 50, 60 grams a day, just eating whatever, to now I need to be hitting 150 grams a day because my goals actually support that amount. Well, it can be very difficult and it can be very confusing to figure out how to do that. So first step, okay, if you want to get more protein in your diet, is plan out your meals in advance and sit down and literally write them out and say, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I got to get protein in the morning, so I'm going to start with a shake. And 2-3 hours later, I want to have a snack, and I'm going to do some protein here, maybe hard-boiled egg, beef jerky, I don't know, whatever it is you're eating, right? Lunch, I got to make sure I'm getting protein again. Dinner, you start planning out these meals to add these things up, and you really figure out what grams you need at each meal, right? Is it 20 at the first? Is it 10 here? Is it 20 at lunch? Does that end up, by the end of the day, when you've eaten all the meals you're going to eat, does that add up to the right amount of protein? And that's really where you start this process, okay? And you'll start finding very quickly the foods that work for you, the right types of foods that you like, the higher protein foods. I got a lot of information on this on my Instagram at TeamFFLEX in graphic form and stuff like that if you want to check out foods list, as well as our website, TeamFFLEX.com. But that's just one way, right? You start learning the foods, you start working it in, you're planning ahead, and now you're getting that protein goal. Here's one thing that I will give you as another hack. Don't be afraid of protein shakes, okay? A lot of clients of mine, it comes up every week where they're having problems. They say, hey, can't get this protein in. It's really difficult for me to get this in. I'm having a hard time hitting that goal. That goal is really high. And if your calories become high and you have, your metabolism's burning and you got these big goals, you're trying to be a bodybuilder, a competitor, something like that, a strength training athlete where you want to build muscle. Ladies, it's the same for you if you want to build muscle, legs, whatever. It's all the same. You're in this spot where you need higher protein. Well, it can be very hard to actually just eat that much food, right? Your calories are higher. It's hard to eat all that food to get that in. Don't be afraid to throw in a protein shake, okay? Your body will assimilate protein in the same instance. So if you're eating an egg, you're getting a shake, you're eating a steak, you're getting a shake, you're eating chicken, you're getting a steak. Get in the protein whatever way you can. So you can use that shake as another way to pile on easy 20, 50 grams of protein, in a simple shaker cup. It's crazy to think that people are, they really don't want to use the shakes because if they think of whole food knowledge, whatever, all this. Yeah, it's good, but if you need to hit the goal, get it, all right? So don't be afraid to use the shake. I'll do 2 shakes a day, sometimes 3, depending on what I'm trying to do, what my goals are at the time to make sure I'm getting that right intake. So you can definitely work in the shakes. A lot of times I'll say, though, for sure, if you start with step 1 and you plan out, you plan in advance, you can really hit these goals, okay? So now you understand why hitting that protein goal is so important. You understand hopefully a little bit about how you can do it. Plan ahead, throw some shakes in if you need it. Check out the high protein foods list on my Instagram at TeamFFLEX. And we got, of course, our free trial on the website, TeamFFLEX.com. For any of you that need more help with your nutrition, your training, whatever it is, we're happy to help you there. Head over to the website and please subscribe. It's one of 5 awesome videos I run all week for you right here on TeamFFLEX TV. Thank you.